All right, everybody. It is a What's Up Wednesday here. I am very happy to bring Chris White. He is from PetProCheck, which is a pet industry specific background checking company. And I have to apologize. I have a bit of an echo going on. Chris says that you guys can't hear it. So if I sound funny or I'm talking slowly, that's why. The good news is I will probably talk less and Chris will talk more, which is awesome because we're here to learn about the amazing things that he's doing for our industry, which I feel is so needed. We have, there's kind of the anybody can pet sit right now, but you have to think about it from both a pet care business owner, whether you're a solo, and your client's perspective. You're letting essentially a stranger into your home. And if we're going to advance and constantly be more reliable and professional than the kid next door, well, we certainly have to uphold kind of that reputation. And background checks are a piece of the foundation to that. So, before I let anybody into a client's homes, I want to make certain that they have no criminal history. So I'm really excited because Chris is going to explain exactly what PetProCheck is, how we got into it, where it's going, and we're going to go through a list of questions. And I'm just super excited to have him. With that and my echo, again, I apologize if I sound strange, but this is live. This is what happens. I'm probably going to throw my computer against the wall afterwards. I made this big deal to Chris. Oh, we need to, sign on a few minutes early so we can figure this out. And then I'm the one with the sound issues.
That's okay.
Chris, thank you so much for being here today and taking the time. I know you have a 17-month-old, I believe.
I do. Yes.
Yeah. So, and we're both being a little inundated with some snow because we're East Coasters. So that's always fun. But I kind of want to give you the mic and I really just want to find out, let our audience know, which is made up of pet owners and pet care business professionals, what PetProCheck is, what it does, and the type of pet businesses it's best for.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. I do appreciate you reaching out and putting this together. It certainly is a good opportunity. I should say PetProCheck is just like any other background check company as far as what we offer, the products we offer. They're still in line with any other industry's background screening. There's nothing less that we do, and there's nothing really more that we do. It's in line with everybody else. What's different is just what you said, that I'm marketing it to pet care providers. I think a main reason why I did that, well, there's a lot of reasons why I did that, but just to start, it's the same as you get with anybody else. People have asked me what's different about it. What do I get that I don't get with other people? And essentially nothing. You get what you would get with any other national background check.
Well, aren't there differences between background checks? There's kind of different levels, I would say.
Yeah, so that was one of my main missions, was to be very transparent, because I did see a lot of people doing background checks, myself included at the beginning, not really knowing what I was getting. Or even what to look for. A lot of things are called background checks, but they don't all contain the most important critical components that you would want to find in a good search. So that was something I really wanted to do right up front, was make sure people know what to get. If you don't get it from me, that's okay, but just make sure you're getting the right thing, because it is very serious. You don't want to miss something. That's what I strive for. So.
Yes, and I have some great news. Can you still hear me?
I can. Is your echo gone?
My echo is gone. It was a simple issue of having two windows open. So This was a human error. But I'm still so glad to have you, and I'm glad that I can think when I'm speaking. Yes, I'm with you. So I was so excited to bring you on today because full disclosure, I have a small dog walking business, and I know that you have a dog walking business. You actually have an awesome logo, and it's Chris the dog walker, right?
Chris White, the dog walker.
Chris White, the dog walker. I've seen you for years, and your logo just always, you're well branded. So I just wanted to compliment you on that. And then when you came out with PetProCheck, I'll admit, I was initially pulled to it because with Pro Pet Hero and our online pet first aid and CPR course, I was like, these names, I also highly recommend it's all in the name, but there is a software up in Canada that's, Pro Pet, and they're Pro Pet software. So it just turns out that not only do these companies have great names, but they have great people and great premises behind them. So I was super psyched to find you and then find out that, as I mentioned before, that you were doing and providing the service to us pet care professionals, because, there's you can literally go online and anyone can run a background check. But what I feel is that yours seems to be more inclusive and more to the point and more geared towards our industry. Yes, you're marketed towards the industry, but are there some other things that what's the difference between, say, your company versus I could just go online for, $20-$30 and pay for background check? Is there a difference?
Well, the difference would be, are you comparing same packages? So that's what I tried really hard to be, is very clear on my website, especially with what's in the package. And then I've started a group on Facebook, and through my Facebook page have been trying to really drill down to what those components mean and what you should be looking for. And so I guess to answer your question, it would depend on what you're comparing it to. There's other companies that offer exactly what I offer, certainly. And then there's companies that sell packages that maybe are missing a couple things that keep their costs down, but don't necessarily provide you with high quality data.
So what are some of the components of a background check that would make it ideal for us as pet care business owners to utilize PetProCheck?
I think no matter who you're doing your searches with, you need to be very certain that there is a county check. County level is the gold standard for sources. And in my particular case, when I first launched, I only included one package, and that package goes back 7 years to every address the person has lived at. And that's kind of aggressive within the industry. In particular, because it's really everything, and I didn't offer an option to do less. But some people mentioned some scenarios where maybe you just need the county of residence, and I thought, okay, if people can justify that, then they should just order that. But if you're dealing with a stranger that you don't know, and you're going to hand them a bag of keys to your clients' homes, you probably want to get back as far as you can in as much detail as you can. I do. Personally, I do. That's how,
Well, I have to agree with that. I mean, we're literally nowadays, I used to find great caretakers at the dog park, or they were, friends of a friend, or I've even hired ex-nannies of clients. But now, I rely on Indeed, Hireology, and Craigslist. And, you really don't know who you're getting. They look wonderful in writing. Then you interview them and you have, an hour or so with them. And then they're riding along with you and they're going into houses, and you might go to the bathroom and, Lord only knows what they're doing. So
yeah,
it's a scary world out there. I love the technology and everything that we're able to accomplish with it, particularly in our businesses with the scheduling software that I'm a big fan of. But at the same time, it also opens so many doors to leave us vulnerable and our clients vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it falls on the pet care business owner. It's one thing. You're your own owner, and when you go and walk dogs, you're not going to steal anything, and you can convey yourself and carry yourself to your clients that way. But at the end of the day, when you have staff, you're representing their representation of you and your reputation, everything you built. Mm-hmm. And I know other pet care business owners and me, that's our life. We've spent years building this.
It's our industry too. And it's, a responsible way to grow, because it's, 20 years ago, you weren't looking online for staff for your sitting company. And the industry is just exploding. It's really fascinating just to see how many people are opening these businesses without even going into the app-based ones. That's a separate interview. But, we need to, there's not a lot of regulation. And I'm glad for that. There's not a lot of state and federal mandates. There's not a lot of government intervention. And I think that maybe there's some people watching, and us as the owners and the people who are trying to responsibly grow this industry, we need to do it right. And we need to be very careful, because it only takes a few bad apples and some bad press for all of us to become scrutinized, and it gives everybody a bad reputation. I don't want to have to defend myself when I say I own a dog walking business. I want people to just smile like they do now and say, oh, that's awesome. What a cool job. So yeah. I'm just trying to cultivate that responsibility,
I love that. I think, and like I said, the name is what drew me to you, but, I was just fascinated to learn, the level of care and kind of how you're bringing this to our level. Because the other issue with not just background checks, but even lawyers, when you're talking about ICs and employees, they don't understand our industry. And I love that somebody from within our industry that knows it very well and inside and out is providing a service, an important service that we need. And this leads me to the question of, how the heck did you get into this? Like, what made you, I'm totally assuming, I have no idea, but from your background, I didn't see that you were an investigator or a police officer. I love that you did this, but how in the world did you get into it?
Well, it was 2 years ago this month, February of 2015, and I had just run a background check on someone, and I was literally just sitting at my desk thinking like, wow, so this industry is so cool. There's now like pet sitter specific insurance. There's people doing pet-specific first aid classes. There's all these logos on the bottoms of people's websites for all these credentials that they have. And I was like, it kind of stinks that I'm like spending this good money to, vet my staff carefully, but it kind of goes unnoticed. And it's not something that people are aware of. It's a hidden cost of business that I do, and it's diligence that I personally feel is necessary. But I wish I could market it. I wish I could like stand out. How can I get my clients to know, other than like that one line on my website that says I background check my staff? I just felt like it should have been a bigger deal, and it should be a bigger deal. And people that are doing it should be able to advertise that they're doing it in a fun way. And so I was like, I wonder if it's possible to do a background check business just for pet care providers. And that just started me down a very long, intense 2-year path and journey to today. But that's what the impetus was. That's how I got started.
I think it's fantastic. I just, I kind of crave for the day. That's not the exact word I want to use, but I can't think of it. That, most clients nowadays know to ask for insurance and bonding. That sort of just naturally comes out of their mouth.
Right.
But I want them to, not that I want them to have a laundry list, but I want a set of criteria. Again, I'm not pushing necessarily for regulation, but
Right.
just a set of criteria that says, I'm a professional pet sitter. I've put your pets first. I've put the care of your home and, everything first. So I'm not only insured and bonded, I'm certified in pet first aid and CPR. We're all background checked, and just kind of, we have these credentials, because this is sort of still, I've been in this 15 years, the wild, wild west, and anyone can pet sit. And again, we could talk about the apps for a whole nother,
Sure.
Facebook Live, but they've really facilitated that, which I think is okay for the marketplace, in that it's making pet care more viable and easy to access. But there's, that's almost like you don't go online to find childcare. You do for, through certain websites, but there's been a disconnect from the level of love and care that clients have for their animals, and the way that it's become too transactional, if that makes sense. And so while I think background checks let people know it's a transaction, we're providing a service, but these are people, and we vetted these people. And so, I find that really important. And I don't think I would love to, and I'm on, the campaign with you to make certain that it's background checks, insured, bonded, certified in pet first aid and CPR. And I think some clients, I say we're background checked, and they don't even think. They go, oh, I guess that's great. Like, yeah, I just, I don't know. I find it interesting. But so did this solve some of the pains? Were you finding that? Because I know personally, I didn't know where to go for background checks. PSI, partnered up with some company, and then I'd hear about another one, and then I found a cheaper one online. And, I've been lucky that my staff's been with me for a little bit, but you better believe I will be using your service the next time that I have to do a background check on somebody. Because I don't think about I don't think about the level or depth that the background check has to go. I just think that there's some in the cloud, some federal database that has,
Right.
information on everybody. And I'm lucky because I don't have a record unless that speeding ticket counted. But it's like, I think we're a little naive. I know I personally am, and I apologize if I'm not speaking for others, but if I am, I don't think we truly understand what's encapsulated within, our criminal backgrounds for that matter. And just moving, like, it's important that if you interview somebody and they say, oh, I've lived in Kansas City my entire life, and you pull a background check and they've moved 14 times. And it's not in Kansas City. They've been in California. They've been, it's like, that's a little weird. Right. Those are red flags that without this process, and it should be part of your systems and processes, we wouldn't know that existed. Right.
I think people with a past are not going to be forthcoming about it. And that's okay. That's the obligations on us to discover it, not necessarily for people to acknowledge or admit it. And they might not even know that it was a big deal. They may not see it the way we see it. But there's a whole set of laws that govern what's appropriate to reveal, what isn't, what can be, what can't be. It varies by county, state. It's very complicated. That was one thing I've learned, is that this is complicated for me. And so for me to uncomplicate it and provide it to people so that it makes sense has been a challenge. But I don't know if I'm solving any pains people are having. If anything, I'm hoping that I'm just, through my transparency, helping people see that what they're ordering is what they should order. And maybe if they're getting something else right now, they might want to take a closer look at it. And I'm happy to do that for people. If someone wanted to reach out to me and say, this is what I'm getting, what do you think? I'll analyze it for you. I don't have a problem with that at all. If it means you come over to my side, great. If you stay, fine. Honestly, my goal is that safe people are going into homes, and that our industry remains, up top notch. Because every time I read a story about a house sitter, a pet sitter, or a dog walker, validating that trust, or violating that trust, it's very upsetting. I take it personally. So I don't know if I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. And I think, I think you're kind of downplaying the fact that maybe you're not aware of the pains that you're solving, but you are solving pains that, for example, my pain was, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know, for a background check company, I didn't know anyone that really understood the industry in which I work. And then I'm sending people with keys into homes, and how important it is to get a thorough and comprehensive background check. And you are in the industry and understand that. So that brings kind of, that takes away a pain point for me. I know that I can just go to you because you are literally a pet professional checker. You're a pet professional background checker. And that to me is important. Cause that's another thing off my back. I don't have to worry about what company, this organization is recommending this month, because they got some partnership sales deal, affiliate, whatever. I know that you understand the industry literally from within. I also like to support my fellow pet sitters. We all, as a pet sitter business owner, I also work with Pro Pet Hero, and I'm a huge proponent of pet safety. And You're sending safe people into homes, and I'm sending trained people into homes. I still find it crazy to this day that there's pet sitters out there that are not trained in pet first aid and CPR because they think they've been around the block enough, or they're just going to wing it. They don't see the value of it. I get the response, well, my clients haven't asked for it. Well, my clients didn't ask for a background check either, but they're sure as heck happy that I did it. So that's where I just want to get across to people. These are not huge expenses. I mean, what's an average background check?
I offer two packages. Their base rates are $29 and $49, but when you add to that county fees, most of the country doesn't have a county fee. If you're in New York, like I am, you're going to get, potentially pounded if you're down near the city. New
York, and welcome to, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we get you. Yeah. So, but really, it's a small price to pay.
That's really small. That's a couple of walks. That's a couple of visits. The peace of mind that you're bringing your clients and yourself, knowing that, okay, I interviewed this person. I didn't have any red flags. Everything seemed to match up. And now I've got this hard proof, this background check that third party has done that it's not me doing my own homework, which is impossible, and who has the time,
Right.
showing that this person is, is viable and somebody that I should consider to hire. And I think, I think that's a great service. And I think that solves it. It takes a weight off of our chest as pet care business owners and as clients. The pet owners out there that are considering a pet care professional, please vet them. Please do your homework. Ask for the insurance, the bonding, the background check, and the certification in pet first aid and CPR. Make sure that anyone can call themselves a professional, but as much as we kind of resist regulation in the industry, I would love we need a standard. And I think background checks are a critical portion to that standard. Right. So I thank you for bringing this service, kind of from the inside out instead of the outside in. From the inside, you saw a need and you're bringing it to us. And I'm just really grateful for it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And you have a cool name. I know, I'm all about the name. I'm all about branding, but Pro Pet Hero is really big and it's really important to me. And, this is just another passionate topic that I have that, anybody on the apps are great in the sense that they allow a sitter to enter market, a person that doesn't know anything about sitter to enter market. But just because you're on the apps doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing a background check on yourself. I know some of them provide it, but all the app says to the client on the other side is their background checked.
Right.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could come to the meet and greet with that piece of paper that says, I know the app says I am, but I seriously am. Here it is.
Or show them the website that did it. And I made my website very easy to read for our client, for the walkers clients, the sitters clients to see. So if you do a search with me, I send you a logo, a member logo from my company that basically says you're doing searches with PetProCheck, hyperlink it to my site, and let your clients see what you're doing. It's very easy to read, and it's obviously geared towards pet people. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to justify a rate increase, or it's a very competitive market, if you're trying to stand out, then this is just another tool. I mean, you should be doing it anyways, but I tried to make it marketable instead of just a very black and white website that does background checks. I tried to make it a little light. And
I love your market. I mean, if there's a check mark through a dog's head, I mean, it's like, okay, we're good here.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so appreciative. Well, I want to thank you again for your time. Is there anything else you want to share? We kind of have, a captive audience here. And like I said, What's Up Wednesdays are about, sharing what's going on in the pet industry or what's going on in the pet world. And this is an important message that I'm grateful that you were able to share with us.
I appreciate the time. I really do. I mean, if there's one more thing I would want to say, it's that if you do come on board with PetProCheck, I'm going to help you. I'm not just going to charge you. I'm going to run an ad in your town that says you started doing background checks with me on Facebook. I'm going to boost it and get people to look at it. I'm going to provide you with information and knowledge that you never had before on checks. And I'm going to help keep you compliant by providing you a help desk that's organized and run by attorneys who specialize in the FCRA, so you can be sure that you're doing things right when it comes to how you use the information I provide you. And those are huge tools.
Okay, so I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because you started off this conversation saying that your background check wasn't very different from the other services out there, but that whole minute that you just spoke explains exactly how you're different. So if I'm catching this correctly, you're essentially giving us a little boost with SEO, some link juice. I mean, there's some amazing things right there. So yeah, there's some differences. Not only you're in the industry, but you just listed off some really cool services that you also provide. So
I want to help. I really just
don't sell yourself short. Forget that whole beginning part where you're like, I don't think we're that. You are. You're amazing. That's great. Well, on that note, I want to end on that because I think that's terrific. So yeah, you get a whole lot more with Chris because he gives you personalized experience. He gives you the information, educates you as well as your town, and gives you links. That's good for SEO people. On that note, I think it's time to go shovel, huh? How many inches do you guys have yet?
A lot. I don't want to look out the window.
Ours has turned to this sleety, icy, rainy.
Yeah.
All you Texas, and I know Florida and Texas, you guys have had a rough year. That's off. I know we shouldn't really be complaining, but enjoy when you do not have snow. It's just the amount of time we spend shoveling. It's a second job.
Yeah, it is. Doesn't pay well.
No, it doesn't. You get great exercise and a bad back. Who could want that? Anyways, all right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of What's Up Wednesday, brought to you by Pro Pet Hero, and we're here with PetProCheck. Please check out Chris and his awesome service that he provides pet care professionals and pet owners. Please ask and make certain that anyone caring for your pet that's not your brother, sister, mother, or your granny, that they have been background checked. Although you might want to check grandma. You never know what she's up to. So. All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care.